Like, I think I remember, like, one time in school, like, they asked you that, right? And I think I, like, drew myself as a marine biologist or something. Which
That's what I did.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, I'll be a marine biologist.
Like, what is... No.
Just sounds dope.
Right?
I was watching a lot of Animal Planet.
It's like that's definitely what they do.
Yeah.
Do that.
But, I honestly had no idea.
Yeah.
And I have always been creative ever since I was a little girl. Like, I mean, any sort of art set, like, I wanted it, had it. Like, that's very much, like, that has always been present within me. But I never imagined that would be something that I would pursue for myself, like, in life. And yeah, I think that I honestly felt pretty limited. And as a little girl, and even just, like, thinking of myself, like, throughout high school and college, like, I didn't know who I was. And because I didn't know who I was, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. I was just kind of, like, trying to figure out where I fit within, like, the rules of society of I have to have a job and I guess I have to like it and, like, what is it that I'm gonna do, and this now, like, describes me, and it's just like I did not figure any of that shit out until a couple years ago. Like, I had no idea. And, thinking back on who I was back then is also completely different than who I am now. Yeah. I think that many people who met me, like y'all, like now, I'm sure if y'all knew me back then, like, y'all would be completely shocked.
Really? You were.
Yeah. And it's really cool to...
Can you paint a picture?
Yeah, I'm
so you're like avoiding that. I'm like, I want to know.
I'm really curious. Like, were you like an emo god?
Like high school and college versions of you? Like, please tell us about that.
Yeah. I mean, I was just wild. I was really wild. I started drinking. Sorry, Mom and Dad, or any family listens to this. I started drinking at a really young age. Yeah. I started smoking at a really young age, and I mean, that was very much like an act of rebellion. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I grew up in a very controlled household. My dad is, bless him, your typical, like, Mexican machismo, and yeah, I was very controlled, and definitely that affected me in so many ways, and in high school, I mean, that's kind of like when the rebellion, like, really started.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. And so, like I mentioned, started, like, drinking and partying, like, really young. Lying all the time about what I was doing, where I was going, sneaking out, sneaking people in, like, getting wasted, like, wasted, blackout all the time, like, just, I mean, I honestly had no self-respect for myself, and, like, no value, no worth, no nothing, and I was honestly just, like, trying to fit in, and the cool people, like, that's what they were doing and hanging out, and I wanted to be a part of that, and I thought that, like, by doing that I would be accepted, or by doing XYZ that someone would like me, or just trying to fit in. And ultimately not knowing who I was, so I didn't have any boundaries, I didn't have any sort of, like, limitations for myself, and so I was just kind of, like, doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And, in college, that didn't really slow down. I didn't really know where I wanted to go to school, and I just knew that I had to go somewhere because that's like what you do after high school.
That's just like, what else do you do?
Yeah.
All your friends are doing it.
Right. And my brother at the time was going to A&M, and so I was like, oh, I'll apply to A&M. And I got in, and then I was like, what the fuck am I doing at A&M?
So he's like, wait, this worked. Yeah, this is supposed to work.
Yeah, I was like, now what?
I didn't think past this.
Like,
part,
I'm here now, and now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And so I for like almost a year and a half, to be honest, I was just kind of bullshitting around, just like taking different classes, trying to figure out like what it is that I wanted to do. And I ended up finding the visualization program at A&M, which I had no idea, but the Viz program at A&M is one of the top like programs in the nation for animation.
Wow.
When you say a visualization program, you mean like visualization, like eyes closed, visualizing?
Eyes open visualizing.
Okay, say more about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to.
So-
Yeah, what does that mean?
So the way that I was sold on this program was that there were multiple tracks. That there was animation, game design, graphic design. So all under the umbrella of visualization.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was like, cool, like I will do graphic design, because again, I always had that I've always been creative.
Right.
And I was trying to figure out where that would fit. And so I got in, and I quickly learned it's a small program, and I quickly learned that the program is really, really, really heavily what's the right word? Heavily guided?
Geared.
That's the word. Heavily geared towards animation. Like, that's the favored. Because the grad program, like, again, like I said, it's one of the top, like, people get hired, like, right away to go to, like, big name animation places. Yeah. Big deal. Like, a lot of my peers, like, they're out there doing it, which is amazing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I quickly learned that animation was not my jam. Like, I do not have the patience for it. It's, physics and math and, like, coding and it's like all the shit I hate.
This is not Disney movies. This is
All the stuff I
This
hate
is
hidden under a word that I like.
Well, it's not graphic design.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm super grateful for that whole experience, right? Like, I definitely dabbled in a lot of different things that I would have never done before. And I met a lot of really cool people, and more so than anything, it's where I really discovered, well, I first discovered this before, but this was like a new introduction of a love for painting. I took a painting class with this woman who I deeply, deeply admire. Her name is Felice House. She is a fantastic artist and painter. She's pretty sure she's still based out of Austin. But, I mean, I don't even know if she knows how much impact she had on me. But everything that I did after that with my painting, like, I owe it all to her, because she definitely taught me, like, a really strong foundation to just, like, run with it.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Like, that was, like, I say it, I have multiple times in my life where, like, I felt a spark. And, like, that was definitely, like, one of them.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I feel like I'm starting to stray away from the original question, but that's fine. Okay.
There is no way you can stray from it, because it's fine. It's perfect.
Your life.
This is your life.
So, yeah, after that, we had an assignment where we had to do a self-portrait, but it was like whatever interpretation of that like run with it.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I had Taco, my little long-haired chihuahua.
Yes.
And it was just Taco at this time. And I mean, obviously, he was a big part of me and who I am. And so I was like, okay, well, Taco's going to be a part of my self-portrait.
Right.
And I had taken this picture. It was like a selfie, but it was like mainly Taco, and then it was just kind of like from like my nose up. It was like me behind him, and I painted that. It was this giant painting, and I loved it. And then after that, I was like, wait a minute, like I'm gonna do pet portraits. And so then I was like, I ran with that, and I was doing pet portraits, like, and I was really good.
Like making money off of pet portraits?
I was making money off of pet portrait.
This is why we do this. This is why we do this. I have no idea. This is why we do this. Oh my god.
Yeah, I was like really good at it, not gonna lie. Like some of the paintings I look, I'm like, damn, I did that? Like, I mean, I shocked myself. I still shocked with myself with like some of the paintings that I did. And it was really awesome. I thought that was it. I thought that was gonna be my thing. Like, and
Pet portraits for life.
Pet portraits for life.
So what, 22? 21?
This was probably, yeah, I guess 21, 22.
So you're still in college?
Yeah, still in college.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like in college doing pet portraits for like $50, which is like nothing,
But
right?
in college, like, cool if you need to make money somehow.
Right,
It's better than
exactly.
nothing.
And yeah, I had like my own little spin to it where I was doing more like the backgrounds were like more like a graphic design print that I would like paint, and then like the animal would be like 3D, so it would like really like a juxtaposition and really pop.
Wow.
I'll have to show you.
I was gonna say we can see some of this, not this for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, so I did that, and anyway, I guess I'm just gonna like continue rolling from there.
Yeah, I was gonna say continue.
Okay, so yeah, I did that for a while, even after college. You know, that was kind of like my side thing, but you know, it didn't last long. It was like almost like very quickly after I was just like not enjoying it anymore. Like I couldn't even like look at
a pet.
I couldn't even look at a paintbrush.
Oh, wow.
Really? Got to that point?
Like it got to the point where I was just like, ugh, like it was this terrible feeling that I had around like painting and doing this. And I remember feeling so like ugh about it because I knew that I had to finish a painting for someone, and it was like forced, and I was like forcing myself to do it. And I know I definitely disappointed a lot of people where like I told them that I would and I didn't, and like, you know, it was just, I mean, there was also many other things happening in my life at that time too that added to that. But it got to the point where I was just like, I have to let this one go. Like, this is not it. This is not for me. It's no longer fun. I'm not enjoying it. Like, yes, I'm good at it, but like, I can't. It just can't.
Yeah.
and that's enough of a reason. You don't need more than that.
Yeah.
So then after that phase, right? That was your first client-based business.
Yeah.
And that's the first time you ever. Was that the first job you had, or did you work in high school?
No, I've been working like
Okay, that's kind of, I guess.
So that was your first client-based business.
Correct.
That you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so where do you go after that? You find that it doesn't speak to you necessarily anymore, or you're not having fun doing it.
Yeah.
Do you go back to working, or do you go to working for yourself? What happens after that?
Well, I was always working. So right out of college, I started working at Whole Foods. I was a store graphic artist.
Nice.
So I moved back home to Houston, and I was working in the Woodlands, and you know, I was doing that while also like doing pet portraits.
Yeah.
And I worked for Whole Foods for, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 years or so. I like worked at a store in the Woodlands, and then I worked at a store in Houston, like near Post Oak. And then from there, I knew that I wanted to move to Austin Like my best friends at the time were living